Hey, how's everybody doing? Shane here from Orchestral Gaming and KNAC, and I'm joined by the legendary guitarist Uli Jon Roth. How are you doing today, sir?
I'm doing pretty good, but I'm a little under the weather. So if I picked up a cold on the cruise ship while we were playing and haven't shaken it off, and I'm not used to that. So
Well,
yesterday I did some interviews, and by the end my voice sounded like Darth
oh,
Vader. But you're the first one for today, so I still sound fresh and sparkling.
I'm glad I caught you when you're feeling a little bit better today, then.
Exactly.
I'm excited for this new tour you're coming out my way, the LA area, but I want to start off with something cool you have going on. Your guitar seminar, Skyhaven Academy. How is that going, and what can we expect from that when people come down to Long Beach?
It's a 3-day event at a private theater in Long Beach. And it's not just a guitar seminar. There are a lot of guitar players there, but also violin players and other instrumentalists, and also people who don't play any instruments. And this is because it's not just about getting better at your fastest arpeggio speed or whatever. It's more to do with our mind, how our mind can get in the way of getting the best out of yourself. A lot of musicians, even good musicians, have all sorts of blockages in them and things that make it difficult to get to their full potential. There are usually reasons for that, and very often it's kind of very similar reasons. I've never had these, so I shouldn't be able to teach about it, but it's not just about the playing, it's also a mindset. I'm trying to encourage creativity of connecting really deeply with the music. I find that a lot of musicians are not connecting so deeply with the music, and then there's like a threshold that they don't go beyond. And that's once you find that threshold, and once you cross it, that's where all the goodies are. A lot of people are very proficient at actually playing the instrument, but to go beyond that and to find yourself and to find your creative voice on your own next higher level, that's something that we're trying to do at Sky Academy, you know?
That's
Yeah.
great. It's something for I know a lot of proficient musicians, but again, going over that creative block that you may have and going to that next higher echelon of your musicianship, that's key in order to, you know,
Yeah.
be in this industry in general.
We did the first one in 2006 at the UCLA.
Wow.
We did it at the Musicians Institute, various locations in California over the years. Then there was a period of 10 years where I didn't teach at all. And that was largely because I came up against a roadblock. And the roadblock was that the students always kept asking, do you have something in writing? During COVID, I took 2 years to write a big book about all these things, and it's called In Search of the Alpha Law. And that was pretty much written for the students. On the back of that, I felt the calling to go there again and to start teaching again.
Hey, well, that's awesome. I'm glad people still come back and they're looking forward to it. When you have the Skyhaven Academy, after that, you start your tour out here in
Yeah.
California. This tour is like two shows in one, which I am excited to see. Can you
Yeah.
briefly touch on how you came about doing the Pictures of Destiny and then combine it with, the 50th anniversary of In Trance?
It should really be two separate tours. That's just not possible, because I can only come to America once, and I like to give people their money's worth.
Oh,
So
yeah.
we do these 3-hour shows, and in the beginning, I just tended to play my repertoire. Now I'm taking great care of really structuring the program, almost like a movie. Yeah, the results are much better than what I used to have many years ago. These two completely different shows in one evening comprise of the first half, which is like maybe 1.5 hours of mainly new music that I wrote. And I hate putting a label on it, but it's kind of like symphonic rock, I would guess. Definitely all the rock elements, including the guitar and also rock singers. mainly the music is my own, but I'm also playing a few classical pieces, like I'm doing some Mozart, couple of Mozart pieces with the orchestra backing, some Vivaldi's Four Seasons, occasionally some Bach. But the Pictures of Destiny theme is came about because in recent times I started painting again, which I used to do in the late 80s, but back then I had to stop because I had developed an allergy against the paint solvents. Then I stopped for 30 years until I found out that nowadays you get paints without these troublesome kind of ingredients. And I tried it and it worked. And then I started painting like a maniac. You know, I cranked out one after the next. I base the paintings on the music or on the lyrics. So they're complementing the thing. And then the next step was simply to just do a 360-degree presentation. So you have the music, and then the paintings are like an extension, a visual extension or reflection of the essence of that music, you know. A lot of these pieces also have movies attached, which I did. It's the movies and the visuals of the artwork, which is sometimes quite large depending on what kind of screen we have, which is the backbone of this Pictures of Destiny first half. Now, the second half couldn't be much different. I'm obviously schizophrenic to be doing this, but for some reason it works, and it seems like an organic whole at the end of the day, although it shouldn't. And it so happens that this year is 50 years of In Trance. It was recorded in 1975, and the next year is actually Virgin Killer, 76. So we are playing a best of those two.
Wow.
And we just did this in Japan, and it worked tremendously. I'm looking forward to bringing that stuff to America because I know the American audience very well, and I would be extremely surprised if they don't react to that kind of stuff.
I highly doubt anybody's going to walk out once you start playing anything.
Well, every night is different. You know, you could have an off night, but I still usually even on the night which isn't so great. I mean, the level is always kind of good enough so people don't ask for their money back. You know, then I haven't had tomatoes yet or eggs. So in my entire career, but who knows? You know, maybe it's just around the corner.
No way. I doubt that. I want to get back to, when you're saying you're going to do your orchestral element in the first half. Are you playing with a full 10 musicians on stage, a full string quartet?
Yeah, we did that in Japan. We were more than 10. The limitation that we have on an American tour is the tour bus. It only
Mm.
holds 12 people, and it's impossible to bring in people in each city because then you start complicated rehearsals. We don't have that time. So we will only have a token string players. However, having said that, it makes a huge difference. It just feels really good when you have super competent string players there, and you can the entire stage ambience is different, and it sounds so much nicer, you know?
Now, when you go and you were talking about, painting like a maniac, I know you're debuting some of your, is it Requiem from an Angel pictures and
Yeah,
everything, your paintings?
yes, I do. This is a piece that I started after my girlfriend Monica died in 1996. And back then I wrote a big requiem piece for orchestra and rock musicians, I guess. And I wrote a lot. I think it was like over 2 hours. And some of it was pretty much the best stuff I had written so far. However, I was never quite happy with the overall structure of the thing, and the structure is extremely important when you do something symphonic on a big scale. One of my good friends from Los Angeles, he encouraged me, he almost pressured me, take that up again, and it was like a mountain to climb because in my mind it was always, I didn't have quite the answer that I needed. There were a few question marks here and there. To cut a long story short, I started working on it again last year, and it flowed And I completely wrote a completely new beginning, 3/4 of an hour, and which I'm very happy with. It's also scored for orchestra already, but I still need to do quite a bit more. I needed all these years to be ready for it, and to, sometimes it's just a process like that. Something was missing back then. I had most of the ingredients, but not all. And now I feel I'm on top of it. We have started recording the orchestra in full, but that's a lengthy process because we are doing it section by section. We're doing string section, we've done percussion, but we haven't done any vocals yet, and no guitars. Very often there's no time because I'm constantly seem to be on the road or whatever.
Now, I want to go back to, how you incorporate your paintings as visual elements with your songs. Are you curating which paintings will go with each track?
Most of the paintings, not all of them, but most of them are based directly on either lyrics or the essence of a song. Then it's relatively easy. Very often, visually, it works perfectly, but not always. And when it doesn't work, I just don't show it. Of course, also, it is still a learning phase, because I'm getting better all the time while doing it. I'm always a student in whatever I do. The older I get, the more things work, simply because I've learned to concentrate on what's essential. And now I know much more what's essential than when I was younger.
Yeah, did you have a pivotal moment where you're like, now I know exactly how to focus my art and craft?
Over the years, you reach these plateaus where you really know, oh yeah, now I have come a long way and I'm on a new plateau, and I've kind of consolidated that. And that's a nice feeling for a while, and then the next thing beckons. And you're already again like a beginner, because the next mountain needs climbing. And each mountain has its own obstacles. And sometimes you just need to go around them, but sometimes you have to do this, but sometimes you have to smash through them, whatever it takes.
And when it comes to, the experience, do you ever look back at things? Because I know that you're reimagining Sales of Sharon right now. How has that been?
That song has been quite a story, quite a trip. I barely remember the process. I remember it vaguely. I remember recording it. Then I kind of left it alone because we never played it in the Scorpions. It was a little bit too complicated. Then I came up with various orchestral configurations. And it was okay. It got better and better. And then we started improvising a lot in the middle on stage. Every time it was different. I don't know how many different versions of that song are there, except for the beginning and the guitar solo and the vocals. Those are always the same. Then in 2019, I had an invitation to play with an orchestra at the Acropolis Amphitheater in Athens, 2 shows. I figured I wanted to put that piece forward, and I did a big orchestra arrangement. Suddenly it got out of hand. It wasn't just 5 minutes, it became 15 minutes. Too big and too complicated to perform on a classic rock show with a new orchestra. So it wasn't done, but I had the score. And that's basically the one we've now done in Japan. We've recorded it with an orchestra. It's not yet released. And yet again, we still have to record the vocals, but we're not far off. You will recognize it because the main features are all there, but it's got a lot of completely new music, and it goes off on tangents.
Yep.
It's become a trip in itself.
Definitely looking forward to seeing you. I'll probably see you on the November 2nd show. That's the closest to where I live. So.
Cool.
Well, Uli, it's been an absolute pleasure talking with you. As we wrap this up, your career, it's legendary, and you can't compare it to anybody else. I would like to know, what do you have for fans to look forward to in the future, and what advice do you give to young musicians nowadays?
Working on Requiem for an Angel to bring it to completion is certainly a major thing that needs doing. and it's been on my list of things to do for years. I can't wait to cross it off. We are doing a second edition of my book because the first one sold out quite quickly. So that's on the agenda. For next year, various big orchestra concerts are planned in Europe, particularly two in Germany, open air ones, where we're performing my orchestral music, including Cesar Sharon and my new Hiroshima Symphony. And I've been invited to perform this one with a big orchestra in Tokyo towards the end of April. One little project that I'm working on at the moment, in 2019, we did a tour of Japan, basically a celebration of my 50 years on stage. We had special guests, Rudolf Schenker, one of them, Phil X from John Bon Jovi. They were great shows, and they were recorded, and that's in the pipeline as well. So other question about the advice is a much harder one because everybody needs a different kind of advice. We're all on different parts of our journey. Particularly nowadays in music, I think the trend is overwhelmingly towards technical expertise, the thing that I'm missing from the equation, music that actually touches the heart and the emotions. We seem to be in a phase where there are a lot of mind games. There's a lot of brilliant young talent also on the guitar. They're all playing very fast and very proficient, but there is a little bit of the typewriter syndrome going on. I don't know if that's really the right way into the future. That's all okay and good as long as there are people pushing the envelope on the guitar. Don't get depressed by the lack of success because almost nobody has success these days. Not success that on the scale that we used to have in the olden days when it was much easier. Don't give in to the dark side. Just keep your spirit up and just keep going no matter what. If you love music, if you truly love music, you will find a way to do music. And maybe this will not be strong enough to give you pay for a living. And if that is the case, that's fine. Music certainly needs you nowadays. There's not enough music around. I mean, not enough music.
Well, Uli, I thank you so much for bestowing that piece of knowledge on us, and I thank you for joining me and talking to you about your new tour. And I know I'm excited to see you on this tour, and I wish you all the best, my friend.
I wish you all the best. Thank you, and all your listeners too. I wish us all the best.
That's all we can do. Be as positive and kind to one another.
We're all in the same boat together. We're all connected. I always think that's very, very true. And it's not just an empty phrase. It's the truth.
Especially with music that binds us and it goes beyond everything.
It's an incredible bond to have.
Yes. Yeah. Thank you so much, Uli.
No, thank you.